This week, my family and I traveled to New York for my sister's graduation. It went okay. On the first day, we literally saw a car on fire on the way to the hotel.
Slow down, don't slow down.
And somehow that was one of the calmest things that happened. Also, if you don't know me, my name is Jackson. I'm documenting my life. I'm running an SMA and helping others do what I do. But first, we have to go back to Wednesday, the end of my college career. I had just finished exam week, which was comprised of waking up, studying, taking an exam, and then studying again, but like for longer. However, after our last exam, my best friend Manny invited me to get a little grub after to celebrate. And I mean, who's gonna turn that down? So we get into Manny's car, and within 5 minutes, his tire pops. We stopped to check it out, and Manny's like, it's just flat air. I'll change it later. Also, I had no idea what flat air meant. I had to look it up. It's just low tire pressure. I don't know. Mechanics, am I right? So stupid. But as we're driving to the restaurant, we start to smell something horrible. So I went to school in Clinton, so some trash burning was not out of the question. But then the smell started to get worse, and it was also following us, so can you guess what the smell might have been? Lucky for us though, Manny's dad is a car mechanic, so Manny's like super well versed with anything automotive. And this also was not the first time Manny has popped a tire with me, so I've seen him fix it before. So he changed it pretty quickly, he puts everything back in the truck, and bam, we're just on the way. He actually locked his keys in the car. We spent an hour in the middle of nowhere, like breaking into Manny's car in order to unlock it. He took this metal thing and shimmied it in between the window and unlocked the door from the inside. And after a lot of sweat and standing in the sun, we were back on our way. But this day was not all doom and gloom. My wonderful, amazing, perfect, spectacular girlfriend surprised me. So we just spent the night packing up my room as I had to move the next day. And luckily, nothing major happened while I drove home and unpacked. It just took so long. So after 8 hours of unpacking and moving and sorting, and I tried recording this clip, and this is all I had to say. I'll tell more about what's been going on later. I'm gonna go to bed. Now, some more backstory. Every summer growing up, my mom ran a program for up-and-coming actors. So she would take them, along with me, to New York. So I have a ton of experience walking around the city. And you may have maybe heard of one of them. She's like kind of like an indie, underground, low-key. It's Renee Rapp. My mom taught Renee Rapp how to sing. Like I said, indie. So after a pretty uneventful morning of travel, I did some work on the plane and we landed easy peasy. However, my 85-year-old grandma came with us. My grandma's lungs and knees are, to put it lightly, super bad. Like just terrible. They do not work. So walking is very, very tiring for her, which of course is no fault of her own, but do you see how this could lead to some problems in the most walking-oriented city? Yeah, me neither. I'm sure everything is gonna go A-okay. Now, as I mentioned before, in our Uber from the way to the airport to the hotel, there was a car on fire on this bridge. After getting the hotel and settling in, we decided to go into the city for lunch. And we ended up at this place called Patsy's Diner that my mom had taken a lot of her other friends to. It's a little place that got famous because celebrities visit every now and again. And also the food was really good. But I mean, I'll let them explain that.
Italian restaurant since 1944.
Whoa.
So this is our dessert. We're going to share it, the three of us. But if you share with Grammy, it has been rumored you might get one bite. So we're going to go in a circle, one at a time.
A circle?
I have a system so that I actually get some cheesecake tonight because normally not so much.
My mom did get locked in the bathroom for 20 minutes and this random guy did have to rescue her, so my mom and I also somehow managed to squeeze in a fight in betwixt going to the Nike store and rushing my sister's show. We're just hot-headed Italians, man. What do you want from me? But arguing with your mom sucks.
But
Your boy can conflict resolve. And then it was time to watch my sister's show. I asked her what type of dance she was, and she said she did all of it. But in my non-dancer opinion, I thought it was cool. And afterwards was bomb because we even got to go to this diner. And I thought it was a really nice conclusion to the end of the night. My grandma had made it walking around. I was like, wow, we really did that today. But I don't think I could have been more wrong. We finished eating at the diner around 10. It's about $75 to travel back to New Jersey where our hotel was. Expensive, yes, but remember that number. My grandma really doesn't want to pay, so we get on the yellow line, all good. Then my mom is like, okay, there's this other train that will take us to the World Trade Center, which we can then switch to the PATH train, which will get us all the way back to our hotel. So that was a lie. Apparently it was like an express, so it skipped a stop. So then we were going the wrong way into Brooklyn for like 30 minutes, and we had to recoup, and then so we just get off and we exit into Wall Street. And it's like 11:45 at this point, we're all exhausted. So we're standing at this intersection, and the only way to get to where we need to go is a 17-minute walk. And my grandma was like, oh, let's just get an Uber.
oh my god.
Let's just get a what? So my mom looked on the app and it had doubled in price. And of course, in the Uber, we were informed that the Harlan Tunnel was closed, so the ride would be that much longer. So we didn't get back to 1 a.m. What a way to start, right? So I wake up the next day, not gonna lie, a little bit peeved. Regardless, Saturday was a new day, and this is the day that my dad, cousins, and aunt were coming in. And we had a Broadway show to see it too with another one of my mom's students. I go get some coffee, get a little complimentary breakfast. I'm in good spirits. And I mentioned that we went to the Nike store. That's because my mom saw my shoes, which I've had for about 5 years, and decided I needed an intervention. I personally think they're fine. But she said as part of my graduation gift, that's foreshadowing for next week's video. So So she was like, we could go out this morning and get you some new ones. And I was like, okay, like what shoes have I been thinking of? Berkey. And this little trip to Soho to get these Birkenstocks was probably the best hour out of the entire weekend. But then of course, boom, it's 1. And she's freaking out because she told my grandma we'd be there no later than 1:15. And my grandma is the sweetest person in the entire world. But when it comes to being on time, that is something very important to her. And we were about 30 minutes away. So we start to book it. We're pushing past people. We're jaywalking. It's getting active. And we somehow make it by 1:20. And we're both just like drenched in sweat. But that was literally all for nothing. My cousins had gone to get food. They didn't make it into the theater doors until 1:50, which of course had one time-sensitive person in my party a little bit peeved. We still make it into the theater before the show starts, and as the light starts to fade, I get excited for the show. Now, more backstory. You guys are gonna know me so well by the end of this. Also, I forgot to say this before, but thank you so much for 100 subscribers. That's really cool. I have probably seen like 100 musicals from the time I was 12 to 21, and I don't really like musicals. It just kind of came with the territory of being my mom's son, and I didn't hate this one per se. All the songs in the show were pop songs, so there was no original music. They would take the meaning of the songs and reinterpret them to benefit the story. So the novelty of like hearing familiar songs kind of wore off for me, but the story was like a very social issues preachy kind of thing. And I really like social commentary, but more when it's prompted for you, the viewer, to figure out what you're seeing instead of just like shoved down your throat over and over again. And like, but good news, everyone else liked it, so I bit my tongue. We said hi to Liam, who did fantastic, and in my opinion was the best part of the show. I might be a little bit biased because I've known it for so long, and we were on our merry way to me and my mom's favorite, Westway Diner. And that's actually the diner where Seinfeld was filmed. My dad just like dropped that bit of lore on me. Who knew? That lamp has always been there, and I didn't change. Now, to contextualize the situation, while we were at the Broadway show, my dad was seeing my sister's matinee, and we had met up at the diner. And he grew up in Poughkeepsie, so he's also very well versed in city travel. And you're probably thinking, this doesn't seem so bad. My grandma may have been getting a little bit tired, which was then reflected in her mood, which then reflected onto the moods of some other people in the party. So we'll just say the overall morale of the group was, you know, very tired, maybe a little bit cranky even. But regardless, we saw my sister's show again. I still didn't really understand what was going on, but it was cool to see twice. And then we, you know, got a little New York slice, a good old-fashioned New York, good old-fashioned pizza. We split ways, with my grandma going in the Uber with my aunt and cousins, and me traveling with the 2 New York natives on the subway. And I was thinking, there is no way that we get lost. At this point, I shouldn't even be surprised. But this time we were able to make the 17-minute walk to the World Trade Center because we didn't have my grandma. My overall faith in my parents' navigational skills has nosedived. Final day. Hallelujah. Now, despite all that had happened, I woke up in a good mood, and I was extremely excited to see my sister graduate. But I guess as a last little Easter egg, all of the water on the floor of the hotel we were on broke, so no one could shower or get ready. That happens to everybody though. And this of course made everyone really happy and not cranky at all. My mom said she took a shower with makeup wipes. I didn't really ask many follow-up questions to that statement. But I got another coffee and we were on our way. So we get to my sister's graduation, which was actually really well done. We had a very small class, so there was this level of like intimacy between the teacher and the student that I really don't think you can get at like a really large school. And my sister had planned this really nice brunch for after the fact. So after somehow walking with my grandma in the rain in New York, we made it. There almost was a slight hiccup because the restaurant said it was closed, but I guess their Google Maps was wrong or something. So after that small heart attack, we were seated, the food was fire. I feel like it would be a really nice place to get dinner or something. I don't know, the ambiance was really cool. So the family and my sister part ways, and me and my family make it back to the hotel. However, at the hotel, we were informed that our flight was delayed 6 hours. So we were gonna be spending some time at the airport. But honestly though, this news wasn't that bad to me. That means I could do work. And that's what I did, besides walking around with my mom for a little bit, because I swear to God, this New York airport was like a mall. Like there was like a Lego store in there for some reason. I don't, got some complimentary grub. And after waiting for an hour on the runway, we took off and we made it back. Did this weekend go according to plan? Absolutely not. Did I have fun? Kinda. If you enjoy this type of video, you can check out some of my other stuff. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you guys next week.